Today, we're going to be learning how to make yellow curry chicken. Let's get into it. All right, so for today, I'm going to be using this brown jasmine rice. Now, usually I would use regular brown rice, but I don't have any, so we're going to consolidate and use this. We're going to have a cup of brown rice, wash it off. On with it. Cup of water. All right, we're going to salt, garlic powder, onion powder, sage, the goat. Also going to throw in a dash of Italian seasoning for the vibes. Now we're going to the top, cover this, bring this to a boil, and we're going to let that simmer for about 30 minutes. All right, so right now I got some leftover green pepper and yellow pepper. We also have yellow onion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this up and then we're going to saute it in the pan. Now, what I like to do when I make my yellow curry is I like to saute the vegetables first and then add them to the curry later. You guys are going to see why I'm doing this. This is going to add flavor to it. Now, one thing we want to make sure of is we don't want to sear the vegetables too long. You want to saute them enough, just enough to get them soft, because when you put them in the curry sauce, it's going to continue cooking. And we don't want the vegetables being mushy at the end, right? So you need to saute them just a couple of minutes, and then we're going to proceed. As I tell you guys in all my videos, when I saute these vegetables, I always go bigger on the cuts, because when you saute the vegetables, they're going to shrink, right? So you need to cut the vegetables bigger than what you actually want them to be. That way, when you have your finished meal, your vegetables aren't too shrunken, right? You want your vegetables to be not too big, but also not too small. So this is kind of, the range we're going for. Into the bowl. Onion. Got way too much off of that. Now, typically when I cook, I don't cook with yellow onions, but to be honest, when I was shopping, the store I was at did not have any white onions, or at least any organic white onions. So I had to go with yellow onions. Honestly, when you guys are doing curry, though, it doesn't have to be a white onion. That's just like a preference thing. All right, you can use yellow onion, you can use white onion, you can use red onion. But me personally, I like to cook with white onions, but completely preference. So I'm be going for about this type of size. Add these onions to the mix. Gonna go in with some avocado oil. In with the vegetables. Tiki tongs. Make sure everything's touching the pan. A nice good saute on it. Let that sit for a minute. All right, so this is some leftover squash and zucchini I have from work. I just washed it off. We're gonna go ahead and chop this up. Cut it at a good bias. That'll be good enough. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of squash and zucchini, but if it's in curry, I'm definitely gonna eat it. Once the food is drenched in curry sauce, it's gonna taste amazing, I promise. All right, so our rice is done. Yes, sir. We'll go ahead and take that off and put that to the side. All right, so now I have the sauteed vegetables in the bowl. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and season it. Now, when I do these, I always season them in the bowl and not in the pan. And I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why is because if you season these in the pan, all the seasonings are going to stick to the pan, right? When it gets hot, seasonings start to burn. So in order to avoid having to constantly clean your pan, shake that up. Yeah. You want to sear the vegetables down first and then season them after, right? It's going to save you a world of hassle, I promise you. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm also going to chop up some green onions and add this in here so it can marinate. Also, on top of that, we have some minced garlic. So I'm going to add that in there as well, and then we're going to let that sit. All right, so we got our green onions. Now, as I always tell you guys, the whitest part of the green onion is the most flavorful part. So if you ever want your dish to have lots of flavor, you want to focus on cutting the white part. Now, the whole green onion has flavor in general, but specifically the white part. Now, when I do my food, baby, I'm using the whole green onion. I'm a green onion fiend. You guys will see on my channel that I cook everything with green onion because green onion is the goat of the game, baby. Green onion and sage. Those are my two. Fresh herb, I like green onion. Dry herb, I like sage. So we're just going to give that a nice, good cut. Right, now we're going to add some garlic. Mix that around. Now we're going to sit and let this marinate and start the chicken. I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be amazing, without a doubt. All right, guys, so for the chicken, we have boneless chicken thighs. You guys will start to see on my videos, this is the only type of chicken that I cook with. And the reason why is because these hold lots of moisture, okay? I love using thighs because it's impossible to dry these out. Chicken breast, you know, drums, other cuts, you know, they dry out. But if you get boneless chicken thighs, your chicken is going to be juicy and full of flavor all the time. I love cooking with thighs. I'm really upset that I don't have gloves for these. One thing you guys are going to learn about me is that I hate touching raw chicken with my bare hands. But obviously, we're about to thug it out, right? I'm not going to stop the meal just because I don't have gloves. No, man, we gotta thug it out. We gotta go all the way, right? In a bowl. All right, so for the seasoning, we're going salt, onion powder, garlic powder, sage, the goat, sage, a little bit of minced garlic. Actually, a lot of minced garlic. Do some freshly squeezed lime. Yes, sir. And I feel like I want to add something else, but I think this will be fine. All right. I'm gonna mix all that up. Thugging it out, just like I told y'all I would. Thugging it out. All right. You guys want to make sure that you mix the chicken very well. Make sure the seasoning gets in all the crevices, right? You want your meat to be seasoned evenly. As a matter of fact, silly me, forgot to add some avocado oil. You guys want to add some oil to the chicken so that when you put it on the pan, obviously it doesn't stick. Go a little bit heavier on it. Dash of oil. Now, as you guys can see, I got a glove on for this because once you run this cast iron a couple times, this handle gets hot as hell. So if you're using a cast iron, which I'm sure you guys know if you used one before, you're going to be touching it with your hand at the beginning. At the end, you're going to be touching it with a mitt. Let's go in with it. You guys want to make sure that you give all the chicken enough space, right? You don't want to overcrowd your pan. Now, luckily, a pack of these is like the perfect size for this cast iron. So just to add some more flavor, I am going to add some more minced garlic on top of this. And then I'm also going to add some more green onions as well. Doubling up the green onions. I'm telling you guys right now, green onions is a dark horse in the game of cooking. Green onions can be used on almost any dish, and it's going to make it better, I promise you. But You guys have to use it more and more, right? You guys are so used to using white onions and yellow onions and red onions, right? There's other onions outside of those. Once you start breaking through the walls of the cooking game, you'll see that there's so many hidden gems. Sprinkle that across. And what I like to do when I cook my chicken thighs, I like to get a top just like this and cover it. And that's going to lock in that flavor while it simmers. Another thing it's going to do is when you top it off like that, it's also going to start to cook the backside as well. That way you have a more even cook. And when you turn it over, you don't have one raw side like how you see now and then one cooked side. This is going to give you one cooked side and then a half cooked side on the backside, right? So it looks like the chicken is about done. Take a look at that. Look at the detail on that. That looks amazing. The power of a cast iron. All right, so now we're going to pull them off and make sure that they're done cooking. So what I do to test this is I'm going to cut them open. Cut on that. And what I'm looking for is just to see in the middle to make sure that there's no pink. And that looks about done. Let's jump to this one. You always want to cut 2 pieces of meat to confirm that it is all the way cooked. And that looks perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. I don't want these to overcook. All right. But before we start the sauce, we're going to try the chicken. See how it came out. It's not bad. It's a little overcooked, but it was still juicy. I was telling you guys, that is the power of boneless thighs. Even when it's overcooked, right, it still tastes good. It's not dry, right? It's edible. So, yep, that's a good flavor. What we actually need to do before we do the sauce is we need to saute the squash and zucchini. So let's go ahead and do that. A little bit of avocado on the cast iron. A little bit of avocado. Squash and zucchini. Pick that up. Actually, I can raw dog it. Ooh, that's pretty hot. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do the glove. Yeah, spread that around. I'm going to go in with it. And we're going to let that saute. And as I told you guys before, I'm going to season it at the end. I'm not going to season it now because if I put it in the pan now, it's going to stick and burn and it's going to be a huge mess. All right, so you guys see this nice brown golden coat? That's what we want to see. Now, I'm going to go in with some green onions, of course. Flavor. We're going to cut it. Onion powder. Sage. Dangers, look at that. That looks amazing. All right, now we're gonna put this to the side. Right now for the curry-based sauce, I use coconut cream. I use coconut cream for all my curries as a base. This is a dairy-free alternative. Now, I don't have 2 of these, so I am going to add milk to this after I put this in. I'm gonna go in with the peppers. I'm gonna go in with the coconut cream. Yeah, just like that. Stir that around. And what all these onions and peppers are going to do is it's going to add so much flavor to help you get that curry base. Now we're going to start seasoning it. All right, now when I make my curries, what I always use are curry bases. Now what a curry base is essentially a blend of curry. So as you guys can see here, it has turmeric, cumin, ginger, black pepper, coriander, fenugreek, garlic. And as you guys can see from this, curries need a bunch of seasonings, right? So if you want to save time and money, you want to start with a curry base and then you can add seasonings on top of it. Because the issue is if you don't have a curry base like this, a blend base, what's going to happen is you're going to need every single one of these ingredients in order to make the curry, right? And it's going to cost you way more money and it's going to take way more time, right? Mochi curry is what I use. It says it's not that spicy. It does have a kick. So I'm going to put this in here and then I'm going to add the seasonings on top of this. I forgot I am going to add a little bit of milk to this just to give it some more volume. This needs a lot of this, guys. You're going to need a lot of this seasoning in order to get that curry base. This is why I tell you guys to buy blends, because with blends, you're going to save a lot more money and time. Onion powder, garlic powder, and go on with some chili powder. So a little bit, not too crazy with this. The goat, sage. Mix together. And basically what you want to do is you want to keep seasoning this and just tasting. Keep seasoning it and tasting. And you're going to work your way up to your desired flavor. All right, now you guys can see I've slowly been working it, simmering it down, adding more flavors, tasting, adding more flavors, tasting. And a pro tip I want to give you guys when you're making curry is you want the curry to be watery like this. Not too watery, but you do want it to be watery because once this sits in the fridge and gets cold overnight, it's going to get much, much thicker. And what happens is if you make your curry too thick in the beginning, once it gets cold, it's going to become a brick. All right. So you want it a little runny like this. That way, once it sits overnight and gets cold and seizes up, it's going to have the perfect consistency of thickness. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this now. And then we're going to finish the dish. All right. And there you guys have it. Yellow curry chicken with vegetables. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, take care. Until next time.